turn this a little bit for you guys. Good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? How was everybody's weekend, for that matter? What am I working on today? So I've got a canister of ball bearing Damascus that I started last week. Just did some initial presses on. I'll try to finish that. If that goes well and I get it done real quick, I might forge out another cleaver. Or something else, I don't know. My weekend was pretty good. Busy. I did a lot around the house. I was finishing up our kitchen remodel that has been a year in the making. But it went well. I got the painting done and pretty much got everything back together. So the only thing left for our little remodel is redoing the floor, but that's not happening real soon. So, all right. All right, so I built a new door for my forge out of some remnants from one of my kilns. So when I got my big air bath kiln, there was a couple layers that were cracked or broken and stuff, and so they sent me new ones because the whole thing is just kind of a stack pattern. But anyways, so now I've got that piece. I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but hopefully it lasts a while. I think I might make something that shape out of the refractory cement because I think I like it. How many times do I have to press it? Until it's the size, like the length, thickness that I want. So I'm going to do this a few more times. Make sure we're nice and solid inside that billet. Then we're going to let the billet cool off a little bit, cut it open, take out the ball bearing Damascus, which should be solid. By now it's probably solid. I just want to make extra sure. Take that out and then we can start drawing it out to length, making sure it's all forge welded up properly and everything. So yeah. So this part of the process takes a little bit longer because that billet is so thick, it takes so long to heat up. And now that the jacket, that canister that the Damascus is inside of, that's not adhered to the Damascus, or at least I don't think it is, and it doesn't act like it is. So there's kind of a buffer zone in there that's going to take longer to heat up. So once we get the can off, it's going to go a lot faster. And actually, I may just do 1 or 2 more presses before I do the can. So, and also I'm running the forge at 2100 degrees right now. Pretty high for forge welding temp. Well, I mean, it's not really high for a forge welding temperature, but I don't think I really need it that high right now, but just in case, better safe than sorry. Jack Osborne. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Let's see. Oh, update on my last blade standing sword. It's solid. It's straight. It's almost ready to start grinding it. Alright, let's do another press. I'm betting this is ready. I'm half tempted to just say that's good and cut the can off now. All right. Bear with me, I'll move the camera here in a second. I gotta take something out of the kiln, so I will be right back, and we're gonna mess with this and probably start forging out a cleaver. Hey there. Oh yeah. So I actually got out here. I usually get out here at 7 in the morning. Got out here this morning, and of course we have snow outside right now. It snowed overnight, which is awesome. And my shop furnace isn't working. So it was 58 when I came out here this morning. It's not too bad. So I think it stopped working sometime during the night. I used to be in the HVAC field, but I don't have all the equipment that I used to, let alone all the knowledge, because you kind of lose that over time. But I can't figure out what's going on with it. So I had to call somebody. Hopefully they'll come out today. So I got the forge going right away because I wanted to heat up the shop a little bit. All right. So what do you think? What else should I work on? I do have. It's kind of warm sitting by the forge. I do have this piece of 5160. I could forge out another cleaver, or we could do something completely different. Or not at all, because here in a minute I'm going to start grinding on that, cut that can open. Actually, I'm going to get that ready. Yeah, it's damn winter wonderland here. That time of year. Hot, hot, hot. All right, let me grab the chisel and the hammer. We'll see if that's deep enough. Not deep enough. At least not on this side. When these billets are hot, you sure go through the little grinding wheels a lot quicker. Especially when it catches like that. That piece just went flying off in the snow. Kind of funny. Alright, for the most part, we're pretty well forged up. There is some debris in here, and kind of fine powdery stuff, but it might be cut into the billet. Alright, now we're going to cut off the top and the bottom, and hopefully this thing will pop out. Off thing. Not ready yet. Interesting. So the very bottom didn't forge up well properly, but it's, I'll have to show you guys. It kind of looks weird. It's not a huge deal. I'm going to try to get this can off. Wait, I don't think that was a good idea. So much for a hold fast. This thing doesn't hold. Now I will admit I purchased this from another maker. Go. All right. I'm not quite sure why that's not working properly, but whatever. All right. So what I was talking about, why this was kind of weird. Yes, that is snow. Just checking the messages real quick because I'm way behind. Yeah, so do I wear earplugs when I'm doing this? I have hearing aids that block out a lot of that stuff, so it's not really a big deal for me. However, I should be wearing hearing protection when I'm doing the power hammer, I know that. But the press isn't as loud as it seems across here. Billet's coming good. Yep. All right, so this is what's weird. So that's, you see there's kind of an extra layer in there. That's powdered steel. And that's the end. So those are some of the ball bearings. There you go. And it's just weird that it didn't forge well to that spot. Everything else looks pretty good. So yeah, I like how that came out. So the reason this released so well is I sprayed the inside of it with white spray paint. I did like two decent coats of white spray paint, let fully cure. Well, maybe it wasn't 100%, but it was pretty dang close. So yeah, released just fine. Yeah, so I'm kind of sick of my fire bricks just breaking over time, and they're not super expensive, but my plan is I wanted to decide if I like this door configuration. I don't know how long this stuff's gonna last because it's that really lightweight fire brick. It just doesn't last very long. You can actually just break it apart with your hands. But I like the coverage, I like the shape of it, so what I think I'm gonna do is make a mold similar to that out of wood and put some refractory cement in there. Also make a plate of refractory cement down there on the bottom and the door and everything. That way, that refractory cement's gonna last a lot longer and it's not gonna break apart like this, like the fire bricks do, or even this white stuff. But that stuff's expensive. So I gotta see if I can find it at a decent price. But all right, so we are working on a billet of ball bearing canister Damascus. We got it all forge welded. Kind of started the drawing out process. Just cut the can off. Came off just fine. There's one little issue about that much of it. Didn't forge weld to the billet itself. It forge welded to the bottom of the can, and there was like a clean break. I don't know. It's kind of weird. There must have been some kind of contaminant. It's fine. It's really not that much of the billet. So now we've got the billet back in the forge, getting hot, and we're going to start drawing it out. Propane. Michael, how you doing? Yeah, Brian, propane. This is a forced air ribbon burner propane forge. And yes, it's one I built. That's why it's kind of ugly. I like the way this thing operates. I do a lot of really big billets, really long, and this is 24 inches deep inside, which is good. I've got it set up with temperature. Got my temperature probe right there, and it's pretty accurate. I've done some testing, and I think I'm within 5 or 10 degrees, which is really good. So, I gotta go throw something in my kiln real quick. Yes, I did make the forge. This was the first and only forge I've built. Can they be made for natural gas? Technically, yes, but natural gas doesn't have as much potential BTUs in it, so it's going to take longer. It's going to take more gas, that kind of thing. I have considered trying to run natural gas. Because I was going to get an on-site propane tank, one of the like 100-some gallon propane tank, and had it installed, piped, everything. County comes out and tells me, nope, can't have it. I don't like that you're using a home-built forge, so no. Which is awesome. But, so now I still have to haul around those 100-pound tanks, which sucks. I want to do something different because, as a lot of you know, I'm a disabled veteran, so one of my issues is my back is messed up. And I can do it. I can haul those in and out of my truck. But I might hit a point where I can't anymore. And before I get there, I want to have a plan. So, all right, I'm going to rotate this real quick. You saw me jump back with my hands. That is the only thing I don't like about this forge. Because it's a forced air forge, when I open it up, it's like a jet engine coming out of there. So if I get my hands in front of it in the right way, it's really dang hot. All right, I'll be right back. I gotta throw a couple pieces into the kiln. And I think that the door I have right now is just a little too wide for a brick. But that's why I want to make my own piece. forging process. So I have all the fun tools. You know, I have a forge press, I have a rolling mill, and a power hammer. I do some work on the anvil with a hammer. I mean, you have to. But I do as much as I can on my press and my power hammer. The press is actually my go-to. It was the first major power tool I had for knife making, besides the grinder. I did buy my grinder first before anything else, as you should. So that was the first piece of big equipment I had, and so I'm really familiar with it. I know how it moves, sometimes to my detriment. I got the chance to use a 25 ton. This is a 16, and overcrushed what I was working on, and ended up causing a failure because of it. One that I didn't see until after temper. It had some hairline cracks in it, but oh yeah, no, we don't wear gloves. So as bladesmiths, knife makers, you're not going to see us wear gloves very much because we need to feel the heat of what we're working on a lot of times, especially if you're at the grinder. And that has another side to it. It's rotating equipment. You never wear gloves with rotating equipment. You'll see me do it every once in a while, but it's my offhand. It's not my hand that's closest to the moving equipment, and I'm still super careful when I have to. Now, as far as wearing gloves with this, I'll do it every once in a while, but it's not so much that my hands are going to get sweaty, which they do. It's if I'm running a hammer, my hands cramp up. That extra material between the handle of the hammers, which, you know, they're not like your regular framing handle. The handles are a little bit bigger, typically. But it'll start cramping up my hand really quickly, so that's one reason. You don't have as much grip when you're working with your tongs, things like that. They just tend to get in the way more than they actually help. And it's not too bad. I mean, you can, like I said, if I have this brick open and I'm right here, like, it's really hot right here. This is almost singeing hair this far away. It's just from the seam on the side. Now, it'll singe hair. It doesn't feel great, but it's really not that bad. It's not like it's going to blister your skin or burn you unless you get really close. The worst I've had is singed off hair on my knuckles, my eyebrows a couple times, but just barely. Actually, usually it's my eyelashes catch it. So I try to be really careful that even if I'm just looking to check how the billet is, I put my eye pro on, because it's not comfortable when the tips of your eyelashes have melted a little bit, because then they stick together when you blink. Let's rotate this again. So that's what we're looking at. It's looking really good. We still got some shadowing. Okay. All right, hey, thank you everybody for joining me on my Monday Live. If you're new here, my name's Brock. I'm the owner and bladesmith of Woodson Knife Co. If you don't already follow me, hit that follow button. Right now I'm working on a billet of ball bearing canister Damascus. So what that means is I made a canister out of square tubing. I spray painted the inside with white spray paint, so that way the steel that I want to keep doesn't adhere to or forge well to the can itself. heat it up, forge weld it. I did a top-down press before I did the sides, and so I did the top down, welded my post on, then did the sides. We drew it out just a little bit more this morning, cut off the canister. Now we're back in the forge, getting it nice and hot, getting ready to do a press. Stain handles. Like knife handles, typically you're not going to, because they're going to be stabilized. I do buy handle material that's dyed, so they put color in it. The only time I will dye a handle is if I'm doing something like an axe or what was it? A gun stock war club. I like dyeing those. And for knife handles, if it's like really hard curly maple that isn't stabilized, then I might put some dye on it. Curly maple is one of those few that you don't really have to stabilize it. It's fine, but a lot of people do. Anyways, I try to get it stabilized. I don't stabilize it myself. Let me start with that. But I try to get it when it's already stabilized, but it's not a necessity for curly maple. Hey, Hog. No problem. So the canister was filled with 1/4 inch 52-100 ball bearings and high nickel content 1080 powdered steel. So it's really close to like a 15N20 because of how much nickel is in there. It's going to have a really bright contrast between the ball bearings and what was the powdered steel. Hopefully it's going to look really cool. Brian, I don't have a catalog, but I do have a website. Website's woodsonKnifeCo.com. You can find it on my main profile page. There's a link in the bio. I actually just had a knife drop Friday, and I'm going to be doing one again either this Friday or next Friday for some kitchen knives this time. Last time it was a couple buoys and a hunter. But yeah, go check out the website, woodsonKnifeCo.com. And again, if you don't already follow me, hit that follow button. And also, if you're enjoying watching me forge, hit the like button. The more times you hit it, the better. The more likes I get, the more likely I am to show up on other people's For You page, which helps me grow. Not really. The question is it difficult to grind and sand 50-100? Not really, any more than anything else until it's hardened. And then it can be a little more difficult. But with the equipment I use, the belts I use, the sanding belts, it's not that bad. Thank you. All right, let's get a press done here. Hey, I forgot about my coffee. Still warm. Go on different sets on. looking good. Mishka, you're right underfoot, girl. Coffee before everything. This is actually, now my coffee maker that I have out here only does 2 cups. It's just a small one, but this is my second pot. It's a 16-ton press made by Coal Iron Works. And actually, we're going to change out the dies. I know we're solid, so we're going to start moving some metal. Now I could put a post on the end and go use the power hammer. I don't want to use it with tongs because it's going to flip that thing out of the tongs real quick. Hog, yes, 100%. If I were going to buy a press again, I would buy their 25 ton. Now, I've used Big Blues. There's only like 3 major press makers out there. Big Blue, Coal Iron, and there's one other. It's like Uncle something, or I can't remember. But I've used them all. Coal Iron's the one I like the best, hands down. I've used the 25 ton once, and it has a significant, really noticeable difference in the pressure. And so, yeah, I would definitely do that, and I would get their controller that they have now. Granted, when you go that route, it's got to be well over 12 grand to order all that, maybe more. I don't know. I haven't priced it, but I definitely would go for their 25 if I could do it again. And maybe eventually I will upgrade to their 25. I mean, hell, I don't know. Maybe someday I'll get them to sponsor me. I still don't have any sponsorships, which it's hard to get sponsorships. The ones I really want to sponsor me, like the Broadback or somebody that does belts. That would be really nice. That yeah. Golden Girls. Calm and eat cheesecake. My wife had bought me kind of a funny mug a while ago, and then I ordered one like 3 weeks ago and saw this one and another one at the store, and I'm like, yeah, I can't pass that up. So now I've got 4 coffee cups that I'm going to rotate through, and I'm sure I'll get more eventually. Okay, we're close. We're not quite there yet. I want to make sure there's no shadowing. It's all up to temp. Nice. Right on. Hi, Mishka feels neglected. I know, good girl. Tell you. Every time I'm on the live, she wants to be, she's always jumping up on me, trying to get attention. It's cute. I think it's just because she hears me talking, and maybe she doesn't realize I'm not talking to her. I don't know. She's pretty dang smart. How do I know it's up to temperature? So, one, I've got a temperature probe in my forge, so I know what temperature the forge is at. But even without that, once your forge is up to temperature, so all the walls inside your forge are the exact same color, there's no shadowing, then you know it's all good, right? It's the same thing with the billet. Once it's the exact same color as the forge walls, it's ready. And then I rotate. If there's any kind of shadowing, I let it go a little bit longer. Yeah, she's a great shop dog. Now, she's my service dog. So she goes everywhere with me for the most part. We went to a masquerade ball. It was actually a masquerade gala. I'm sorry, I just got an invite for somebody to join the live, so they would pop up. I absolutely hate that, not because I don't want anybody to do that, because not once has anybody that's sent that request ever said anything in the comments, let alone it's never somebody I know. So I have no problem with another knife maker or somebody else coming on here, but still. You're not going to be able to do that, gunfighter. They don't do that. So with service dogs, the attrition rate or the failure rate is really high. And so any reputable trainer is not going to train your own dog. They scour and they'll get a bunch of dogs, they'll put them through the test, and only certain ones are going to get to the point where they can be a service dog. Because of that, reputable trainers, certified trainers, will not train your own dog. There's so many different reasons that I've been told by trainers that it's a bad idea. So I hear that a lot from veterans, that they're going to have their dog trained to be a service dog. But I hate to break it to them, it's just not a thing you can really do. No, and the VA has no idea. So here's the thing about the VA. They don't support service dogs at all, even for the blind, especially not PTSD service dogs. They've caused a lot of problems with veterans getting service dogs, having service dogs, and part of the reason I think is it's not a service they can actually offer, and so they don't want anybody to do it because they can't control it. That's one theory that I've heard, at least. But yeah, the VA as a whole does not support service dogs, and I have gotten that from some of the head people at the VA here, and I've heard that from dog trainers. They're trying to help veterans get their PTSD dogs. The VA doesn't care. They don't want anything to do with it because they don't get paid for it. But, and there's a lot of great organizations out there that train service dogs. Do your research. If you get asked to pay money to apply, it's not a reputable one. That's not how it works. Most of them get funding and raise funding to train these dogs. It costs about 20 to 30 grand to train a PTSD dog. All right, Hog, have a good one. So, and my dog Misha, she came from Second Chance Canine out of Tennessee, Nashville, and they only work with special operations veterans and high drive dogs, German Shepherds, Malinois, and so I learned a lot from their head trainer Travis, him and his wife, and yeah, The other thing I learned really quick is the amount of veterans that apply for service dogs and then ask to have them bite trained is really high, and that's illegal. And I'm not kidding, it's illegal. You cannot have an ADA certified service dog that has any bite training ever. And there's a lot of reason why that's bad. So if you're wanting a dog that's going to go everywhere with you and provide security or something like that, the service dog's not your answer. You need to go spend the 40, 50 grand to one of the German Shepherd places that train dogs to be fighters and guard dogs and such. Red squid, I have no idea. I do not sell my billets. I've sold a piece once to a maker, and that was pretty much the last time I'm ever going to do it. That was a long time ago too. Yeah, gunfire. Honestly, to me, the guys that I've heard talk about that they're usually a certain personality of guy, and if you're in the service, you'll all know that guy that still acts like he's in, still has that really high emotional standard, that really high, a really short fuse, the quick trigger, and is always talking about, somebody breaking into the house, all these different scenarios and stuff. And it's always those guys that want a security dog like that. And I don't know. I think it's dumb, but these are on. All right, let's do another press. Stop talking. Not quite even, but whatever. Ooh, and I do see a bad spot, but right there. We'll see. I think we're gonna have to hit the sides, actually. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that get really hot. I'm going to throw some flux because there's actually several of these little craters on the side. It's just where the billet kind of pulled apart a little bit. So I'm going to throw some flux in those, back in the forge, let it heat up, and then go to the power hammer, and we're going to hit the sides of that try to crush everything back down and get that kind of forge welder back up. I just don't want those to expand and to turn into something else. That guy, yeah. And I always say that because I've known a lot of those guys, and they're just over the top about things like that. And to me, it's weird to base your whole personality around that kind of thing. But like I said, to each their own. I'm definitely not the kind of guy that's going to base my entire personality around that. Especially because I have knife making. I'm going to base my personality off of that. Not really. All right. So let's move over here. Power hammer going. Okay. You guys back a little bit more. Hey, and there you can see Mishka. Of course, that's what she does most of the time. But she tends to, so I have pads that I stand on in front of tools. She likes to sleep on those. And she tends to sleep right next to where I'm working. And if I've got my respirator on and stuff like, I don't always see her. I always feel horrible because I'll turn around and kick her or something, an accident. And she looks at me all indignant and then moves. Oh yeah, I gotta grab the flux. I need to get something new to hold my flux because I had it a little too close. It's still sealed, but it just warped. My own fault. So like I said, I'm going to just put some flux in those bad spots and see if we can fix them. Had it too close again, and it melted out the side and went to the side. Don't I feel dumb? Well, shoot, that sucks. So I melted it. It was still this far away, but radiant heat. It needs to be on something glass, I guess. Let's see what I got on my shelf over here. I don't know if I have anything to hold it. Got absolutely nothing. but I'll fix it later. I just have a lot of junk to vacuum up now. Back here. So that's still got some shadowing to it, because what we're going to do with those seams is try to forge weld them up. I want that temp, that billet, as hot as it's going to get inside the forge, which means no shadows, no dark spots on the billet, none of that stuff. So, has everybody else heard that they might ban TikTok here in the States? So, I don't know what's going on with that, or if they do move forward with it, when it'll happen. It sounds like TikTok just doesn't care. So, if I were you, I would plan that TikTok's not going to be around much longer, and if you get a chance, go to my bio, click on the link, and go add me on Facebook and Instagram. If TikTok goes away, I'm going to do lives on one or the other of those, and probably also YouTube. So go check out the YouTube as well. All my lives that I've done here previously go on to YouTube as well, so you can rewatch them. Rewatch them and pick out all my mistakes. But yeah, like I said, TikTok may go away, and so makers like me are not scrambling, but trying to scramble, I guess, and start moving people over to their Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Now, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to do more on Instagram than Facebook. The algorithm on Instagram is just a little bit better. I know they're run by the same people, but Facebook sucks. Their algorithm sucks. Unless you're throwing thousands of dollars at them every day, they don't care about you. They don't care if you're a maker. They don't care what you bring to the platform. It's all about the money. Instagram, it's run by the same people, so the same thought process is there, but it seems like the algorithm's just a little bit different and easier to go through. Still sucks. YouTube's a little better. So I think that's one of the places I've already got the YouTube and we're trying to grow it, but again, that's just Woodson Knife Co. That's what all my stuff is. So if you happen to forget or you want to go look them up, you don't have to go through my links. You can just look up Woodson Knife Co. Let's see if this is ready. We are ready. sides look better, but they're not great. Now, I could have prevented that, and I honestly thought about doing this and just kind of went, it'll be fine. So if I had put my squaring dies in right after we took that billet out of the can and then squared it up really good, it probably would have prevented what I'm dealing with now. And it's just these little pockets along the side, and there's probably 6 or 7 of them. They're very superficial, but they are there. And so I want to flush those out, meaning crush it so those are flat. That way they don't expand into something else. That's why I put flux in them. So I think one more round on the sides should do it, I would think. Yeah, and see, that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. There's little tiny cracks. They're kind of like fissures, honestly, because they don't like spread to the side, they just go down. And like I said, if I had run it through the squaring dies, probably would have fixed that. Now another thing, when you're doing canister Damascus with powdered steel, especially, what I have learned from watching Steve Schwarzer, who is the Damascus master, especially with canister Damascus, don't put your post on. Make your can, get it nice and hot, and then press your can vertically, at least once, if not twice, and then draw it out. And that'll help prevent those cracks on the sides. It also helps get your ends forged welded up. I've seen it where guys have opened the cans, and the center section's fine, everything else is powder. It's a little, means low temperature as well, but it's one of those things that helps prevent that. Open up more. Yeah, like I said, if I'd hit it with the squaring dies like I should have, I think it would have been fine. I wouldn't be having this problem, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I've honestly only done ball bearing canister Damascus once before, so. You know, you might try increasing your heat and your soak time. You know, it's like this morning I let the forge heat up for almost an hour before I threw the billet in there. And because it was a big billet, I think it was an extra 45 minutes after that before I did anything. But yes, it could be your soak time. And maybe I'm wrong, that's just what pops into my head. Now inherently these do want to crack and stuff like that, so yeah, you're constantly gonna fight it, but I would try increasing your heat maybe and your soak time. Speaking of which, I'm going to increase my heat. Although my propane tank that I just filled last week is almost empty. I did a lot of forging last week. Now I've got another tank that's full, so it's not a big deal. But I went over and noticed my pressure was lower than I had set it, and that's kind of what happens. As you start getting to the bottom of the tanks, the pressure goes away. shallow for the most part, but I don't think there's much I can do about it. Not at this point. Yeah. So next time I do one of these canisters, I'll try to use the squaring dies after I pull it out of the can. That may not fix it, but in my head I feel like it would. So, all right, everybody, I'm gonna go get rid of some coffee. I'll be right back. Oh, really? All right, I want to hear more about that. I'll be right back, though. My teeth are blue. All right. Really? No difference, huh? Like I said, I haven't... In my head, it sounds like it would fix it, but... Yeah, man. Oops. So, okay, so ball bearing Damascus for your LBS blade. Are you doing like 52-100 ball bearings? What's your plan? I did not see your. I honestly didn't follow LBS last year very much at all. I was just too busy, I think. I can't remember. Oh wait. I know what it was. I didn't know LBS was a thing. That's what it was. I kind of saw a couple things about, but 2% powered nickel, 50. Okay, so it's very similar to what I'm doing right now. Yes, Mishka. She just won't leave me alone right now. Send me her good girl. Come on. So the only difference is I use the 4% nickel. But 1/4 inch, 52-100 ball bearings, and then 1080 with 4%. Now this isn't my LBS sword. I've already got that forged out and moving along. Let's put it that way. How's it look? Right. The canister or the blade I'm doing? 7 days until, ooh. That doesn't sound fun, man. The canister, I don't know. I'm still drawing it out. Oh, wow. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun, man. I hope that surgery goes good. Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, that sounds like the best plan you can have. Especially you can get all the way to the bevels and all that. Should be able to do everything else. I mean, it depends on what kind of guard and that kind of stuff, but I'm sure you got it, man. I'm sure you'll be fine. All right, so I rotated that billet. I was gonna run it back through, but the end of it, the very last inch, was just black hot from the tong. So I threw it back in the forge. We're gonna get hot and I'll do that end. There you go. See, I know that my first round, I don't even know the guy I'm going up against. I got tagged in a couple things with him early on, but I didn't recognize him. So I know nothing about his work. So he's probably just going to blow me out of the water, which, you know, that's fine. Smooth is fast, fast is smooth. Or slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I'm sorry. For as many times as I've said that, I should be able to get it right. I don't remember his name. I haven't looked at it since the roster came out, so I don't remember his name. Plus, I'm really bad with names. Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah, I don't know. I did have somebody that follows me mention that him and I were her favorite bladesmiths. So, you know, there's some crossover because she wasn't the only one that follows me and him. So there's some crossover somewhere, which is cool. But yeah, I'm not familiar with his work. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I don't know. Oh, come on, you suck up. Love you, honey. So my wife decided to get a TikTok, and she was going to try and surprise me today. And then apparently I ruined it because she liked something last night and I saw that it was her. Oh, right on. Love you, honey. All right, let's get some more hammering done. Right, so you can actually see, you can see those dark marks, kind of like streaks. Those are the ball bearings. Now, the only reason you're seeing that is the carbon buildup on the outside of the ball bearing or the forge scale. Sent me a design a while back. Hey, you know, I get it, man. Life gets in the way for all of us. Trust me. If you want to revisit that, let me know. I try to make special orders easy. Most special orders, I just ask for a $100 deposit. That's special orders under $1,000. Oh yeah, I'm sure she's still on here listening, but yeah, I'm extremely lucky to have my wife, you know, just for how supportive she is, let alone everything else. So yeah, I'm very lucky. Oh, he's on Forge and Fire twice, huh? Did he win? Yeah, it is cool seeing the patterns. Yeah, and it's really weird, or it could potentially get really weird if they do ban TikTok here in the States. Because, I mean, I'm over 40,000 followers on here, but there's guys that have way more than me, and it's going to be hard because the algorithms on the other social media platforms suck, and they don't care about makers. They only care about big corporation businesses, and that's who they support. That's who they give the attention to and the favorable algorithm outcomes to, because they give them tons of money. And people like us, we can't afford to throw a couple grand at Facebook every day, or I'm sorry, Meta every day, just so we'll show up on people's feeds. Nice. That's good. That's good. What am I making today? I am working on a ball bearing canister Damascus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind being on camera. Doesn't really bother me. All right, see if this is ready. I think it is. Oh. My new door is not going to last. It's already starting to break. Alright, I'll just flatten this out. Straighten it out. Alright, so this is where we're at so far. It's still just under a ½ inch for the most part. I'm going to throw it back in the forge, get it heated up. We're going to hit with the flattening dies, and then we're going to come back here to the rolling mill. So I think we're good on this. Change out the dies real quick. Probably should check comments. The full-blown knife maker app isn't a bad idea. The problem would be getting it in front of people. People are on social media, and there's smaller, newer social media platforms out there, but nobody knows about them because they're not allowed to advertise on, other social media platforms aren't going to let them advertise on their stuff. So it's how are you going to get the word to people to come to your app, your platform? I think that would be the biggest hurdle. No, so the ball bearings are 52-100, and then the powdered steel is 1080 with 4% nickel. So it's close to a 15N20. It's in that ballpark, and it's going to have kind of the same reaction as far as contrast when the blade's done. I don't know. I don't think I'm photogenic at all, so. Hey, I'm a Marine, so, I mean, you want to talk knuckle dragger. Not only am I a Marine, but I was in the infantry, so. Okay. Find my gloves. So this is one thing I always wear gloves for, is changing out the dyes. Because unless I know the machine's cold, and it hasn't been used, I never know how hot the dyes are going to be. Now I know all the bladesmiths on here are going, well, no shit. But that wasn't for your benefit. Yeah, which I've had happened a lot, especially with the drawing guys. They're trying to heat up again, I think. Yep. The tank, I mean, it looks like it still has a quarter of a tank left in it, but the pressure is like way gone. Once I see the forge start dropping below, 1950 degrees, I'll switch it out. Smell barbecue. Yeah. That's funny. got my white door that I was trying out already started breaking on one side. Now, it was already broken. I just pretty much glued it back together with some high temp oven, whatever stuff. I can't remember what it's called. Or stove. Anyways, high temp adhesive. Let's just go with that. I don't think I got enough on that one side, so I'll fix that later. All right, have a good one. Smell bacon. You know, Brian, usually I don't go through a full tank of propane a week. The past couple weeks I've been forging a lot because of my last blade standing sword fiasco. So I was making brass Damascus and just had failure after failure. Finally figured it out Thursday, got the final billet drawn out and everything on Friday, and cut the sword out and got it shaped and everything. But I figured out what my problem was with the brass Damascus. It was actually the steel. And the reason I figured this out was I buy big sticks, all my steel from New Jersey Steel Baron. And this was a piece of 1084 that I've been cutting on, taking pieces off for a while. And that's what I used in all my brass Damascus billets for the most part. And it would fail on the same side of the steel every time. And I didn't put it together until the last billet. I only had 2 pieces of that original steel left. The rest was from a new piece that I got from New Jersey Steel Baron. And the 2 outside pieces did the exact same thing. They brazed to the brass, but the brass didn't braze to anything else, and they just fell off. But everything else, solid, fine, no problems. So it was really weird. I still don't quite know how that works. I think it was just some impurities in the steel, maybe. I don't know. But regardless, I got it done. Got the final billet done and everything. Oh, right on. Yeah, I was for the past 5 years, up until this past summer, I was a maintenance supervisor / maintenance director. Though I've never been a great welder. I mean, I still use a buzz box, which I need to upgrade. I just don't know for sure what to get. I'm getting sick of using sticks. Now you can't really see anything, but here's the last blade standing Wakizashi. You can see the pattern, but you can't tell what it is. So what this is, I've got a core of 3200 layer Damascus, 2 copper shims on each side, and then a jacket of brass Damascus. Hopefully this thing comes out okay. We'll see. All right, one more flattening press. guys moved. I hope so. I don't know what I'm gonna make out of it. It's just one of those things. I've had the material sitting around for months, or the better part of a year, to do more ball bearing canister Damascus. I just haven't done it, and so, like I said, I don't really have a plan in mind with this, other than to make fun, sharp things. Oh, okay, so here are some of the failures from the brass Damascus. And so here's one of the outside layers that was in a canister. That's why that line's there. That's that weld point inside tube stock, square tube stock. Well, the piece of brass is there. Next piece over, and this was literally, I put it in the forge and it just fell off. Okay, next piece over, a little bit later, fell off, and it just kept doing that. Pieces just fell off, and even the final billet that that survived, the core of it survived. I had the two outside pieces, which were the old steel. It's got to be the common denominator. Those failed, but everything else was solid. It was a really weird situation. It's done now, and I actually have a little bit of that billet left over. Can't really see it, can you? But this is that brass Damascus clad Mai with a 3200 layer Damascus core and copper shims. So fancy. And I have some brass Damascus left. Might be able to see that. Oh, there you go. But not a ton of it. Enough to do a small billet. Okay, that's almost ready. So all I'm doing off camera, and you guys might actually be able to see me, I don't know, but all I'm doing is flipping the billet around. That way I'm getting both ends evenly. I'm trying to look at the top of my screen. It pops through with different stuff. I don't know if it shows on your guys' end, like it shows subscriber options, which is interesting. But Big Sway, how you doing? But it just shows I don't have subscribers yet. I'm kind of I'm not sure how the subscriber thing works, other than what I set up. I don't know how it works on like your guys' end. So, but if somebody does go and check that out, let me know because I'm curious. So when I mean the inside of the can, that line, that's that weld point. Yeah, this worked really well except for the ends. Both ends had a little bit of material forge welded to them, which I'm guessing I just didn't get enough spray paint on. Germany, how you doing? All right, so everybody is just coming in. What we are working on right now is a billet of ball bearing canister Damascus. We're drawing it out. It's already been forge welded together. And we're just drawing it out to length and thickness. It's going to get to the point here pretty soon where, I mean, I can barely fit it in the forge right now. So it's about 26 inches long, I think. Between 24 and 26. So here pretty quick it's going to get to the point where I'm not going to be able to do both ends with one heat. You guys can see it, but I can see the stretched out ball bearings. Okay, I was wrong about the length. We're just now at 24 inches. It's just at 24 inches now, so. Okay. It doesn't come up with anything, and I don't know what that says. All right. Hey, everybody, if you were enjoying watching this, do me a favor, hit that like button. The more times you hit it, the better. I want to see if we can get some more people in here. We're down to 23 viewers. The more likes I get on the feed, the more likely I'm to show up on other people's feeds. So help me out. have to switch tanks here soon, I think. I also don't know how far I'm going with this billet. Because I don't know what to make out of it. I don't know what I want to make out of it. So, probably take it down to 0.2, 0.22 maybe, and leave it there. That way it's thick enough that I can either forge it out thinner if needed, or I can use what's there, depending on the blade. Although I could use this as a layer in something else. I don't know. Now, what I'm working on right now isn't going to be a sword. Well, not necessarily. I don't know what it's going to be. I just wanted to make some ball bearing canister Damascus, so here we are. All right, let's do another run. I do not, but TikTok has a translate feature. So when I can, I'll hit the translate so I can communicate with everybody. Sometimes it doesn't work though, but it's kind of cool. No, unfortunately, I only know English and bad English. I'm gonna get something to drink. Okay. So that tank's pretty much out. It's all right. I mean, if you understand a little English, you know, I mean, you can also hit the translate. All you do is, you know, if somebody else can't translate what I'm saying, but if somebody else has written something that you want to know, just tap on it. It'll bring up an option screen, hit translate. All right, so I need to change out my tanks. So I'm gonna do that. I'm kind of disappointed I have to do that already, but this is what it is. Oh, I gotta find my wrench. Tank's changed. Head back over here. I did not vacuum my shop floor last week, so I feel like I'm a little behind. But I just made a huge mess on the floor, so with my flux. So I got to vacuum anyways. I try to keep my shop road clean. Keyword try. Yeah, it is for now. Only because, you know, we produce some here. I don't know how long that's going to last either. I think propane, gas, all that's going to skyrocket. Unless we can, I don't know. There's a lot of political stuff going on. So, but yeah, it's one of those things you can't do anything about, not as an individual. So, no use getting upset about. All right, so we're well over 26 inches now. See it actually sticking out of the forge right there. And we're still over a 1/4 inch thick, so there's a significant amount of material. This machine I'm using, Brian, is called a rolling mill. Yes, you're good. Okay, awesome. Thank you, good girl. So, you can see, there's the rolling mill. So the top spins. You can see that. And it's rolling so it pushes things back out. Then this clamps it together and they both roll together. And I can adjust the throat opening with that. So the cool thing about using a rolling mill is as you use it, the entire billet ends up being the exact same thickness, which in the end is a big plus. It's a big advantage as a bladesman. So I really like them. They're easy to use, and they're really not that expensive, especially compared to a power hammer. They're like an eighth of the price. A lot of guys build their own. I think her deal is she knows I'm talking to somebody and I'm not paying attention to her, so she gets jealous. Huh. Are you jealous? All right, let's go girl. Turn the machine on. Curious what we're at. I'm gonna grab my mic real quick. All right, so we're at 0.3. So we're not even a 1/4 inch thick yet. But we're getting there. Getting there slowly but surely. What is better, pull or pull? I'm not sure what your question is. machine or hammer. Okay, so what's better, the rolling mill or the power hammer? It depends. The power hammer is going to move metal a lot faster, but it's not as accurate. You can do more things with the power hammer than you do with the rolling mill. It is solely to draw steel out. The benefit of the rolling mill is when you draw out the steel, it's the exact same thickness, the entire length of your billet. So when you go to make knives or anything like that, or grind it down smooth, it's a lot easier because you don't have these high ridges that you would get by using the power hammer. Now, I have flattening dies for the power hammer. I don't use them. The rolling mill just works way better. And if I had known that the power hammer comes with flattening dies, I would have told them, give me something different. But I just didn't realize. O'clock. Just waiting for the end. I had put in too far, and so the last like couple inches were still black hot or close to it. So I pulled it out just a little bit to get that hot. Otherwise, it's going to get to that end, and the machine's going to stop because it's not going to be able to overcome that where the steel is harder because it's not hot or as hot. But we're getting close. Almost there. Yes, I am. I am. I've got the sword finally, the actual blade made. And I mean, it came out real nice and straight. So I'm going to be doing some more work on that this week and later today, along with everything else I'm working on. I've gotten some orders in recently, which is awesome because the past couple months have been so slow. It's hurt. So having some orders is exciting. Though I will say, I wish people would start buying some of the stuff off my website. And we're still not even a 1/4 inch thick. We're still at 0.3 inches thick. That's a long billet, especially for a ball bearing canister Damascus. That's quite a bit. Yeah, are you in LBS as well? So, and for anybody that doesn't know, LBS is Last Blade Standing. It's season 3. 64 bladesmiths competing this year. It is a short sword, essentially. Max length 27 inches. Has to have some non-ferrous metal in it, which I've got covered in spades. Doesn't have to be in the blade. It can be on the handle, guards, whatever. But yeah, that's what LBS is. We're not talking about my weight for once. What do you mean you got scared off by previous parameters? Because they did Cancer Damascus last year, didn't they? So I guess I did know LBS was going on last year. I just didn't follow it. At least not very closely. But I don't know. This year's challenge is, I mean, it's kind of intense if you think about it. Especially if you're doing something like I'm doing with the non-ferrous metal in the blade. I need to do a test piece of this. Actually, I have some. I have this long stick. You just need to clean it up, like grind into it, clean it up. Set that by the grinder and do that later. Almost. Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that makes it difficult. I know we do have some guys this year doing it without power tools, or at least that's what I've heard. I don't know who they are. And yeah, that's gotta be rough. Like me, I can't do that. My back, my shoulders and stuff won't handle doing that much hammer work. So I have to use power tools, or else I wouldn't be in the trade. Though I always love it when I give people who talk bad about me because I use power tools. And it's always that, well, you know, the original bladesmiths didn't use those. Yeah, dude, but they would have. If it was available, you better believe they would have used that. So, and I understand there's people out there that want to go just because the challenge of it, you know, do it the way it used to be done 1,000 years ago. Cool. I'm not one of them. Yeah, and there's no way to know because they're not going to release the parameters until they know who all's in it. The only thing I could say is you could throw your name in the hat for next year and make sure that that Doc knows that you don't have power tools, and he might be able to work with you on that. So, I mean, Doc's a great guy, so. What's up? All right. betting that's close to a 1/4 inch. We'll go check it real quick. Look at that, right on. Like, I mean, right on. 0.253. Like, I can't get any close to a 1/4 inch than that. Like, nice. All right, now I gotta do the other end, get it even. That cracks me up. So I've always been really good at being able to judge how thick something is. Or if something's out of level, being able to look across the room and tell a picture frame's out of level by a 1/16 of an inch. And I'm not kidding. My wife cracks up at it all the time, but my mother's the same way. I think I'm a little more intense about it than she is, but there's been times in the past where I've been looking at buying a house or whatever, and you walk in and I'll go, this room's not level. Go inspect underneath, yep, it's sinking. And it's just barely off, but it's starting to. All right, have fun. Pedal-driven coal forge. So that's cool. You know, and it's each your own. I don't like using coal forge. I've done it once. I didn't enjoy it, and there's a lot of different reasons I didn't enjoy it. And it doesn't fit with the way I like to work, the way I like to make things. It just doesn't work for me. But I've got nothing against people that use it. It's cool. I have a coal forge sitting outside. It just needs to get rebuilt, but I don't know that I ever will do it because I'm never going to use it. But it's cool to look at. Hey, I almost built one of those like 5 years ago. I wanted to get into knife making, and that was all the rage, using brake drums from like semi trucks and a hair dryer. And so I was going to make one, never got around to it. And then came the pandemic, I went into it a completely different way, but I'm happy where I'm at. Yeah, it's not as efficient, for sure. But, you know, like I said, I mean, to each their own. If you enjoy it, stick with it. It's just, it was not something I enjoyed, which kind of annoyed the guys I was with. But just being honest. Alright, so we're done with the rolling mill. Now we're going to get the billet hot. I'm going to use the M-fill to straighten it. Not flatten it, straighten it. And then once I get it nice and straight, then we'll use the press to go through and straighten or flatten it. There you go. You know, and that's awesome. I mean, I think one of my big complaints, beyond the fact you're constantly doing something, and so with the way I like to work, it just doesn't fit my rhythm to turn the blower, work, turn the blower, work. I like to put my steel and be able to do other things. But I mean, I can see the appeal to it. It's just never did. And the lung thing, that's another thing that gets me. I feel like, you know, working around coal like that and running a coal forge, it's going to mess up your lungs over time. It's got to, unless you're using a respirator. And maybe I'm wrong, but you know, I was a smoker for years, and now that I'm not, I try to be extra careful. So hopefully, I can make it through life without getting my lungs all messed up. Not using heavy hits. I don't want deep one on the sides. We're going to go right into the press. Okay. Sorry, I know you guys couldn't see the press. So I'm pretty happy with the way this is going. I don't see any issues. So I still don't know what to do with this. I mean, I could get a bunch of knives out of it, or sword and a knife. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Eventually, after LBS and I get this sword that's a special order done, so next year, I'm going to start working on a family sword. And it's something my wife and I have talked about for a little while. And the kids wanted me to do anyways, but the idea is I'm gonna make a sword to stay in the family, use it for like cutting the cake at weddings and stuff like that. But I want to go off of my heritage and my wife's heritage. So my heritage is Norse and Irish. My wife, 100% Korean. So I want to make a Viking-esque sword with the guard, pommel, and maybe even the handle, kind of taking some aspects from the Korean swords of the same time period. I think it's gonna be a challenge, but the way I picture it in my head, I think it'll look cool. But I don't know what kind of steel I want to do. I don't know if I just want to do a regular Damascus or what. No idea. I want it to be fancy, but I'm not going to do like a 1,000,000 layer Damascus or anything. It's coming out pretty good. I've got it in the forge right now. Doing some finish finishing up on the billet, getting it straight and flat, which it's ready. Now we're straight. Yep. Nice and straight. A little bit that's out of flat. Let's see if I can get it. Not too bad. All right, so there it is. I can see some of the ball bearings. You can see they kind of look like streaks. I don't know why people keep requesting to come live, but they don't say anything in the comments, and I don't recognize the name. So I don't know how that works, but if you're a knife maker and you want to go live with me, all you gotta do is ask. Yeah, canister came off pretty easy. Only the ends, but it was small. That was bad, but that came off pretty easy. So I hang this. Open the forge because I currently don't have any heat in my shop because my heater isn't working. So we'll just leave the forge open. All right, so we've got the canister Damascus done. There it is, hanging. There's Mishka. Oh yes, I know, I said your name. I have no idea about quenching with water. I know, so I've never done a water quench. Actually, I take that back. I tried one once messing around and it failed miserably. It cracked. And it was like a piece of scrap. I know there's people that mess with water quench. I don't really see a point, personally. And it's because we have engineered quench oils that work better than water. So for me, it's kind of like I have both those quench oils. Why use water? Why make more of a risk? But if you're wanting to use water and quenching, make sure you have the right sword. Make sure you have the right steel, for one. Two, I know there's forums out there for water quenching, so do some Google research. But yeah, I'm just not the one to ask about that. My knowledge of water quench is super limited. What is LBS 3? So LBS is Last Blade Standing. It's season 3. So that's one of the swords I'm making. That's what that's for. It's going to be on here on TikTok and YouTube I think Instagram and Facebook, but I don't know for sure. But there's 64 Smiths. There's a lot of well-known Smiths. Ben Abbott is one of them. We've got, I think it's like 12 Forge and Fire champions competing. And you got guys like me. Been doing it for not even 2.5 years now and going up against some crazy good bladesmiths. So we'll see. I just hope to stay on the board for a little bit. But yeah, so that's Last Blade Standing. That's what I'm making this wakizashi for. I'm just hoping it turns out okay, because this is a hell of a pattern. So the core is 3,200 layers of Damascus. It's got 2 copper shims, and then the outside is brass Damascus. Not in the first round, I know that. So, and I can't remember. Has he said what he's making? I don't remember. Some of the guys are being really secretive about what they're making. Others are like me, where who cares? It doesn't matter. If the other competitors see it, it's not gonna matter. It's still gonna be the same thing when I'm done. So I don't care if people see it, and that's why. I mean, heck, I had Smiths in here while I was making this, guys that are in the competition. But yeah, I don't know what Norse Forge is making. I have a feeling, and from what I've heard, I'm the only one doing a Japanese-inspired sword. I don't know if that's true, though. I mean, I am curious. But, yeah, it's still a lot of work. Yeah, I follow him, but I'll try to see if I can snoop around and find out what he's working on. But like I said, it doesn't really matter. It's not like you're going to be able to go, oh, he's doing that. Okay, I'm going to copy him. It just doesn't work like that. Yeah, hopefully it comes out okay. I want to see how far off it went. Oh, perfect. Okay. I have my parameters Sharpied on the floor. I already checked them, but I wanted to check against my Sharpie marks. So yeah. I mean, I've been plagued with issues making this guy. It just doesn't seem to stop. But hopefully we're to the point where those issues are going to start going away. Hopefully. But we'll see. All right, everybody. So we got the brass Damascus drawn out. Nice long billet. There's going to be plenty there to make knives or a sword or whatever. Not enough to make a claymore, but we've got some pretty good length there. That's probably just going to get stuck over in my collection of steel, and until I figure out what I want to make with it. Or maybe I get an order for it. Who knows? But anyways, all right. So I've got a bunch of stuff to do. I gotta see if I can get somebody out here to come help me fix my furnace, or else I'm gonna be freezing tomorrow morning. And I don't think I have anything out here that can't freeze. I'm sure there's something that I'm not thinking of, but whatever. So I'm gonna work on that and a few other things. Probably get some work done on this guy and the other sword. I'll show you guys this other sword. Now this isn't near the difficulty as far as the layering. So this is a Damascus clad semi with a 80 CRV2 core. This is going to a guy who does armored combat. So I've got to make sure this thing is strong as hell. That did just remind me. I was going to remind me about something. Anyways. All right. So that's all I got for today. I'm going to go take care of some other stuff, and I may be on live again later this week, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. So watch for the lives. Also, go check out my other videos. I have one that's pinned to the top of my page right now. It's like 126,000 views. And I was so stoked about it because it got to over 100,000 views in less than 24 hours and then just died. And the reason it died is I made the video a little too long. It was where I was putting the curve of my wakizashi in using a piece of wood. And I should have, once I stopped hitting it on the wood, I should have cut the video off. It was like 15 to 20 seconds at that point, but it went longer. And so when people don't watch the whole video, the algorithm starts sending it to less and less people. But I think I'm going to try that video later, but a shorter version, like next month. Yeah, no problem, Brian. All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you don't already follow me, hit that follow button. Go check out my videos and my website, woodsonKnifeCo.com. There's a link in my bio. And add me on Instagram and Facebook. It's in there too. Same link area. And I'll see you guys next time. As always, be kind, much love, and have a great week.